Welcome back, 7:38. So lots of people play video games. Some play too much. Is it a problem? Well, this week the World Health Organization classified gaming disorder as a mental health condition. And joining me this morning is Parkland psychologist Rebecca Corona. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think what's key here is how to know when it's just a passion for something or when it's now turned into a problem. Is there a fine line that's kind of hard to say?
It can be for some, especially because so many people are concerned when they see their children play and they worry is too much.
Right.
But it becomes an issue when it's compulsive, when you no longer have control over the game. You have to play, even in the face of consequences, putting aside important things in your life, or just recognizing that there is this urge to play and you have to play.
Yeah, I mean, the World Health Organization saying that this is so serious that very similar to drug addiction.
Yes.
Or alcohol addiction. I mean, they're saying it's basically the same thing, and that these people would need treatment.
Yes, gaming looks a lot like substance abuse because there is a neurological response to that leads to feelings of reward and pleasure. And so in order to continue receiving those feelings, you have to continue to play. And like with substances, the more that you use, the more that you have to continue to use in order to keep up with that sensation.
So how much is too much? I mean, what should parents be limiting their kids to?
That's a challenging question because each family, each child is different,
Right.
but you would need to look at the child's age and developmental area. Younger children should obviously play less. Usually it would be better to be relegated to the weekends, maybe an hour or two. And then as they age, adolescents might be able to manage a little bit more time with their electronics. But of course, after they finish their chores and their homework.
You get that stuff done first. Now,
Absolutely.
here's some tips. I thought these were good. Take the screens out of your children's
Yes.
bedroom. Keep the devices basically like in a public area. Make the children or the child earn game time. Teach kids to prioritize real life activities first. Make sure that they develop a social life outside the game, which I think is really important because I think a lot of parents that sometimes will think, oh, well, he's really into gaming. So that's like his other thing other than school. But there needs to be some social activities as well, like sports. And also really help them reach some important goals. I thought was interesting too. But you say that this really is usually gaming, I guess, if they're addicted to it, it's underlying some sort of other problem. You should actually be looking at maybe their social life or something else.
Maybe even issues at school. There might be an underlying undiagnosed depression or anxiety that could be occurring as well.
Now, adults have an issue too. Sometimes we have trouble limiting ourselves. What do you say to adults who are having trouble?
Well, I would recommend that they certainly be mindful of the time that they spend on their computers or on their gaming system.
I mean, actually keep a record. Wow.
Absolutely. Keeping track of how much time they play, setting alarms can be really helpful.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get lost in those campaigns, so if you set a time limit, you know when to stop.
Yeah, and you basically say turn off your computer when not in use. Also set up a new goal for yourself outside the game. Take on a new hobby, take on a new sport. You're a gamer yourself, really?
I am. I love to play video games. My husband and I find it to be very relaxing, but we have had to set alarms on ourselves in order to make it to dinner or to other activities because you really can get lost in them.
You can get lost in them. Yeah, you definitely have to police yourself. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate the tips.
Thank you so much.
All right.